A poor old woman steps into a bank, faces scorn, then leaves everyone speechless. Picture a sleepy little village where weathered homes with sagging tile roofs line dusty red dirt roads, and life moves at a slow, steady hum. At the end of a narrow alley stood a shack, barely holding together, home to an old woman named Han. She was a slight figure, her thin frame bowed by decades of toil, shoulders hunched under the weight of time. Yet in her lined face, her tired eyes still carried a faint glow of hope, a stubborn flicker that refused to die, no matter how tough life got. Folks in the village knew her as Han, a name as plain and unpretentious as the woman herself, living out her days in quiet resilience. Her home wasn't much to look at, more a crumbling hut than a house teetering on the village's edge like an afterthought. Its roof, a patchwork of faded palm leaves, drooped low, stitched together with scraps of old tarp that flapped in the wind. When the rains came, water seeped through in relentless drips, splattering onto the dirt floor and pooling in muddy puddles. On those nights, Han would shrink into a corner, her bony hands clutching a threadbare blanket, its edges frayed from years of use, trying to fend off the chill that crept through her bones. The shack creaked and groaned with every gust, a fragile shell barely shielding her from the elements. Years ago, Han had a small family to call her own, a kind-hearted husband who worked with his hands, and a son, Tuan, who filled her days with light. Her husband was a carpenter, a man of calloused palms and gentle smiles, crafting tables and chairs for the village. But fate doesn't play favorites with the poor. One day, a workplace accident stole him away. Timber slipped, a beam fell, and he was gone, leaving Han a widow with a 10-year-old boy to raise. From that moment, her life became a marathon of survival. She threw herself into any work she could find, hauling buckets of water from the well, pulling weeds in the blistering sun, wading through mud to catch crabs or snatch snails from the creek. No job was too small, no task too grueling, as long as it kept Tuan fed and warm. To Han, he was her world, her pride, the reason she kept going when her body begged her to stop. Tuan grew into a fine young man, his mother's sacrifices etched into his determined spirit. When he came of age, he made a choice, to leave the village for the city, chasing a bigger life than the one those dirt roads could offer. At first, he sent money home, folded into letters with promises to visit. Han would clutch those envelopes, tracing his handwriting with a smile, dreaming of the day he'd come back. But time has a way of stretching promises thin. The letters slowed, then stopped. Phone calls faded into silence. Tuan had built a family of his own out there, and Han was left behind, a forgotten piece of his past. Still, she never let bitterness take root. "My boy's smart, busy, making his way," she'd say when folks asked, her voice swelling with pride. "He loves me. He's just caught up." Deep down, though, she nursed a quiet ache, a hope that one day he'd roll up with grandkids in tow, their little voices calling her Grandma, a dream she clung to like a lifeline. But the years rolled on, relentless. Her hair turned silver, streaked with the gray of countless sunrises. Her hands, once steady, now trembled with age, and that dream grew hazy, like a photo left too long in the sun. Every morning, before the roosters crowed, Han rose from her creaky cot, grabbed an old bamboo basket worn smooth by use, and set out. She'd shuffle through the village alleys, her sharp eyes scanning for treasure, discarded cans, plastic bottles, anything she could trade for a few coins at the scrapyard. By noon, she'd be knee-deep in the canal's muddy edges, picking wild greens, water spinach mostly, to bundle and sell at the market. Each bunch fetched pennies, but to Han, those pennies were gold dust. Her meals were humble: cold rice from the night before, a drizzle of fish sauce, maybe some boiled greens if she was lucky. Winter brought a biting cold that seeped through her shack's cracks, and she'd layer on an old sweater, a hand-me-down from a kind neighbor, its wool pilled and stretched thin. She'd curl up in her corner, the wind whistling outside, and tough it out. Yet no matter how lean things got, Han saved. Every coin from her scavenging, every cent from her greens, she'd wrap in a small cloth, guarding it like a secret. At month's end, she'd pedal her rickety bike to the post office, depositing her haul into a savings account. The passbook was her treasure, a faded, dog-eared booklet, its cover yellowed with time. But to her it was a lifeline. She never touched the money, not even when fever racked her body or hunger gnawed at her gut. "Gotta keep it for later," she'd whisper to herself, "for when I can't work anymore." Her eyes, clouded but fierce, held a fragile hope for a future she could barely imagine. Then came a storm, a real beast, that roared through the village, tearing at everything in its path. Han's roof took the worst of it, ripped open like paper, letting rain pour in sheets. Her basins couldn't catch it all. The floor turned to slush, the cold sinking deep. She shivered through sleepless nights, staring at her crumbling home. "If I don't fix this roof, I won't make it through another season," she murmured, her breath visible in the damp air. After days of wrestling with the idea, she made up her mind to dip into her savings, the hoard she'd built penny by penny over decades, just enough to patch her roof and keep the rain at bay. At first light, Han rose, her resolve firm. She fished her passbook from its hiding spot, a wooden box under her sagging bed, brushing dust from its worn cover. She slipped into her best outfit, a patched tunic she'd washed the day before, its fabric soft from years of wear. With her old conical hat perched atop her silver hair and the passbook tucked into a frayed cloth bag, she wheeled out her creaky bike. Before pedaling off, she cast a long look at her shack, hope flickering in her chest. A new roof, and maybe life won't be so hard. The 15-kilometer trek to the bank was a slog for a woman in her 70s. Her bike rattled over potholes, each bump jarring her frail bones, forcing her to pause and steady her breath. Villagers waved, curious. "Where are you headed so early, Han?" She'd flash a shy smile. "Just some business in town." The village's quiet gave way to the town's clamor, honking cars, vendors shouting over each other. Han, in her faded tunic and wobbly bike, weaved through the crowd, sweat beading on her brow as the sun climbed higher. All she could think of was getting that money. Dry nights depended on it. The town center dazzled. Shiny cars, sleek storefronts with glowing signs. Han parked her bike, staring at folks in crisp clothes stepping out of boutiques. She felt like a fish out of water, but squared her shoulders. "This is my money. I earned it fair and square." The bank rose ahead, a glass and steel giant, its logo gleaming, guards posted like sentinels. Automatic doors hissed open, revealing a cool, airy lobby. Plush chairs, staff in starched shirts, customers in suits. Han froze at the threshold, clutching her bag. She'd never been anywhere this fancy. Eyes followed her as she shuffled in. A woman muttered, "Her?" "Here, probably begging." A young guard blocked her path. "What do you want?" "This isn't a drop-in spot." "To withdraw from my savings," Han said quietly. He smirked at her patched clothes and scuffed sandals. "You've got savings? Prove it." She handed over her tattered passbook. He glanced at it, unimpressed. "Wait, I'll see if they'll deal with this." Han sat near the counter, stares prickling her skin. A man sneered, "Money? Her? Bet it's trash." A teller chuckled, sneaking a peek. Han felt the judgment, but stayed silent, hands tight on her bag. The guard ushered her to the counter. The teller, young and polished, looked up with a scowl. "What's this?" "I need money from my savings, for my roof," Han said. The teller flipped through the passbook, voice icy. "Too old. System can't check it. Come back later." "Please, it's all I've saved," Han pleaded. "Can't help. System's down," the teller snapped. Han stood there, visions of her flooded shack flashing before her. Her eyes stung, but she wouldn't cry. Whispers grew. "No cash. Just wasting time." She turned to leave, steps heavy. Then a voice cut through. "Wait, ma'am." Mr. Min, a suited man with kind eyes, strode over. "Let me see that," he said, then faced the teller. "Why dismiss her without checking? Everyone gets fair treatment here." Silence fell. Min's presence, calm, commanding, shifted the room. He took the passbook, its pages yellowed, and pressed the teller. "You rejected this without verifying? That's not right." The teller stammered. "It's outdated. Our system doesn't support it." Min shot back. Did you even try? Curiosity replaced scorn as eyes fixed on them. Under Min's glare, the teller typed the details, hands shaky. The room held its breath. Only the keyboard's clatter broke the hush. Then she gasped. It's valid. Over 200 million dong. Shock rippled through. $8,000. A fortune for Han. The guard shrank back. Han's eyes blurred. She'd never dreamed her scraps added up to this. The guard mumbled. Sorry, ma'am. I didn't know. Min snapped. Sorry she's got money or sorry you were rude. Cash doesn't define worth. A skeptic chimed in. How's a scavenger got that? Something's off. Doubt spread. Han gripped her bag, lost for words. Min stepped up. You're wrong. She earned it. Years of sweat, saving every cent. To Han, he said, Tell them. Her voice trembled. I've only had my hands. Hauled water, picked trash, sold greens, saved every penny for a dry roof. Her raw truth hit hard. Heads bowed, tears welled. The guard bowed low. I'm so sorry. I misjudged you. The teller, eyes red, added, My fault. I should have checked. Min faced the crowd. Today's a lesson. Don't judge by looks. Worth's in how you live. The truth was out, but Min pressed on. This isn't just a withdrawal. It's about seeing people's value. Customers apologized. We got it wrong. Stay well. Han smiled. Thanks. I just wanted my roof fixed. No grudges. Min lingered. I helped because you're like my mom, he said. She faced scorn borrowing from my school. I vowed to stop that. I couldn't ignore you. He offered. Let me fix your roof. Keep your savings. Han balked. That's my life's work. I can't. Min insisted. You earned it. Let me help. Her resolve softened, and she nodded, voice thick with thanks. A week later, Min's crew rebuilt her shack. New metal roof, solid walls, a few basics inside. Rainy nights turned cozy. Neighbors who'd snubbed her softened. Some pitched in, atoning for past indifference. Min visited, seeing her quiet joy. You deserve this, he said. Your grit taught us all. Han replied, I just did what's right. Life's about giving. Her story, from scorned outcast to respected elder, spread, a testament to resilience and kindness. It's not wealth or looks, but how you live and lift others. One act ripples far. Han's tale is ours, a reminder that empathy and goodness work wonders.